Alright, this is our presentation over target management for Dr. Trahidi, and it is by DJ, Gavin, Emily, Cameron, and Evan.
Alright, so today we're going to talk about target management, all the supply issues and other issues that this company has. As every large company has, there's plenty of issues, but today we're going to talk about two of them. Just a brief overview of Target. They were the first to use airplanes to deliver merchandise, so they're always innovating. They're a huge box store. They have plenty of different methods to getting their merchandise. It's a company that started in the early 1900s, so they've always had to innovate and expand. This wasn't a company that came up overnight. It was a company that's been around for a long time. The main number one reason why they are wildly successful is they have extensive nationwide presence. They have an exceeding brand loyalty. You'll talk to anyone. They know who Target is. They know what they do. Even with a competitor as large as Walmart, Target is right there with it. Target also has a massive comparison to Amazon, and with Amazon being primarily online and e-commerce, Target took it, ran with it, and does the same thing. They have a massive fulfillment section, drive-up section. They have 1,800 stores in the United States alone, in every single one of the United States, 50 states. So they're always innovating, they're always finding ways to get their merchandise to their stores. Even with the whole COVID crisis that happened over the last 2 years, they were able to make it work and deliver to each one of their stores. So this is the way the supply chain works. It is a spoke and hub model. So they have their central hub, which is each one of their distribution centers, and each distribution center delivers to a different store. So each distribution center is not only responsible for one store, but most likely 10, 15, 20 stores, depending on how many stores are in that state and local area. And then this is their division of labor. And these are the two issues we're going to talk about today and go in detail about the problems they have, solutions they have, feedback we can get from it, and overall benchmarking compared to other companies. So this is our general diagram of the Target and Muncie's division of labor.
All right, so our target issue number one is supply chain reliance issues. Basically, Target retailers struggled with many supply chain problems during the pandemic. They have now stated that they are confident that its proactive investments in technology distribution hubs and their continuous supply chain operations are allowing them to pull this all behind them. They stated that a big part of the success was from trying to keep everything stocked on shelves despite the global backups in supply chains. Target has also recently announced that they will be opening more than 30,000 new jobs in the supply chain section of Target. The Biden administration announced that many big retailers will be expanding their efforts to help with the ongoing supply chain shortages. This will be a big help to Target in allocating their goods in time. Target's main issue is that they've been facing these past years, what they've been facing these past few years is not being able to get their products in time. And this is not entirely their fault. The global supply chain for the past few years has been a bottleneck, and it's causing massive shortages. Now the solution is, although Target may have been one of the most successful when it was getting their merchandise together in their stores, they run the risk of many industries getting over zealous in merchandising purchasing. Earlier in this pandemic era, construction supplies became extremely expensive, not due to the lack of shortage or increasing demand comparatively, but due to the consumers hoarding at the fear of the supply shortage.
Alright, so to go off that, New Balance is a great company to look at because they produce and sell their products right from the States, and this is a good thing because shipping in and out of the States, they don't have to rely on these foreign countries to wait for them to ship it overseas. And this is one of the solutions we've advocated for in our paper because it would stop the outsourcing essentially from products to these foreign countries and from these foreign countries. And this would stop the supply chain reliance on these foreign countries. And this change wouldn't happen overnight, but many companies like New Balance have found a way to cut the supply chain reliance, and by doing so, they have created and retained a loyal customer.
Another problem within the Target management team is a division of labor, and with that, they unevenly allocate their jobs and tasks among the store's team leaders. As you can see on the blue side, those are all the tasks assigned to the general merchandise team leader, and on the white side of the screen, it is the tasks assigned to the market team and merchandise team leader. So clearly you can see that the team leader has many more tasks assigned to them, and it's very heavily relying on the GM team leader. And a possible solution to this is to allocate these jobs more evenly between each of the team leaders and the store director in order to enforce communication and not have frustration among all the employees. Another issue of division of labor is they rely heavily on seasonal workers. Being such a large corporation, they do have a lot of seasonal workers and not a lot of people that stay year round. And with that, they don't have the proper experience that the year-round people would have, and they're not there all the time to be up to date with what's going on within the store. And so a good solution to that could be to find more year-round employees that can be on the leadership side of it in order to, going off of my next point, to train new employees and make sure that they get the proper training that they need. Because the third problem within the issues is the new employees and the seasonal employees that are coming to the Target stores don't get the proper training that they need, and so the employees can't heavily rely on them for potential leadership possibilities.
So with that, Adidas does a good job in this department by having incentives that they offer for these employees to hopefully keep them around longer, which would be like 401ks, insurance, and other benefits. And they have learned from this data that since they have added this, they have successfully retained a higher percentage of workers over the long run. And this was a problem Target struggled with, so Adidas did well with that. And this has also lowered their turnover rate, which increases sales and a happy work environment, which also includes keeping the workers there, happy workers, happy work environment. And if Target were to replicate some of these tactics implicated by Adidas, they would see a lot lower turnover rate in their employees, and this might be one of their solutions.
So I'm just going to be talking about some of the feedback and the importance of feedback in a company. So for Target, it's really essential to have some type of feedback system in place, because without feedback, a company really can't find the chinks in their armor and really find where they need to fix problems, because a little problem could ripple into a big issue. So some things that I found while researching were that 36% of employees don't even have a anonymous feedback system in their workplace, and 37% of those employees don't even have a open door policy with their manager. With that in mind, we strive to be a little different and be able to take issues and be able to fix them with a feedback loop. And so how we're going to implement that is by sending out surveys to each and every Target employee, whether it is a storefront customer or it could even be a higher level management position. And what would be on this feedback survey would just be short questions such as how the overall quality of their workplace is and how they are doing in their positions. But there would be major emphasis on making sure that they have ample space to talk about the issues that they may have with a person or with certain things that they feel that they could be improved upon in their workplace. So essentially how the feedback loop works is that these people would fill out the survey and it would go up and it would be dealt with by the managers. And if a manager can find a solution, they would implement that and it would trickle down and it would be able to be fixed. And if we did these quarterly or even monthly, if new issues came up with the implementations that were made, it would be able to be fixed just by the loop.
So overall, Target's main issues we have addressed, or what we believe to be as the main issues we have addressed. We've given solutions and benchmarks in comparison to other companies. If Target decides to implement these solutions, we think it'd be great for the company, not only for growth, but for employee appreciation, happiness, and the overall extensive nature of the company. As these large companies address these issues, there's always going to be more problems, and we hope to be the kind of people who can solve them. Far too often, these things go unaddressed, there's not enough communication, and then they go underlooked and they decide to go under. I mean, Macy's, for example, decided to go under after the Amazon takeover. Fortunately, Target hasn't had that issue, and we hope they don't have that issue in the future. Thank you.